Welcome back to another Cube video. My name is Edward, also known as Strategy. And today we are doing some Arena Cube. You may have noticed a little delay in some of my videos recently, and you may also notice I have suspended talking about the cards on my wall. I'm trying to get a lot of these out for a reason that I'm not going to say right now. But so hopefully they'll keep going. I do apologize. I have some more from the Lotus Lounge coming, and there should be some vintage as well. But just keep that in mind, please, and I appreciate it. So, going to this pack, I really like Archon of Cruelty, but I'm not going to try to draft Reanimator right now. I think the Flooded Strand or the Lorien Revealed is probably the most open / best things to be doing with this pack. I don't want to devote to Azorius too quickly, and nothing else in here really is really catching my eye. Hollowed Fountain doesn't devote to, or devotes way more to blue-white than Flooded Strand does, so Flooded Strand can still be a 5-color land. So, oh, there's a Library of Alex. This pack is yeah, this pack is catch a lot of things catch my eye a lot more. Anyways, so Library of Alexandria, that's exciting. Booster Tutor is also exciting. Gut is also exciting. All three of these cards I would love to take here. I do like Library of Alexandria, but it incentivizes you to have a lot of cheap removal like Unholy Heat, or just cheap things to play like Soul Guide Lantern or Noble Hierarch. I think Gut is the most powerful. You could argue Booster Tutor for sure, but like with Gut, you know what it's going to do. I really like Gut, but I just don't know if I want to devote to an aggressive strategy this early. I'm sure my opponent to my left is thinking I'm AFK or something because I ran out the clock on the first one. I'm going to take the Gut. It's just the strongest thing in the pack, in my opinion. So I'm just going to take it. Now we have a little bit of direction. Okay, if I took Library, I'd be kind of interested in Teferi, which is really funny because I passed a Hollowed Fountain and a 3 Fury, if you will. There's a Dak Faden. I do like Dak Faden a lot. Honestly, the rest of this pack is kind of mad. There's Fabled Passage. I could just take Fabled Passage because this can get red. Dak Faden and Gut aren't really like best friends per se. And again, nothing else in this pack, and this Jit doesn't really do it for me. So I'm gonna take the land. When in doubt, take the land. Which, I didn't take Library over Gut, but Gut is just so powerful. Nothing else in that last pack was just super powerful. Okay, if I took Library, I'd be really tempted to take Burst Lightning here. I did not, however. Burst Lightning is still good, but Skull Clamp is, one, something I can sack to the Gut, but, two, if I'm going to try to play a Gut deck, Skull Clamp goes really well with that. I like the Lelia as well, but it's another 3-drop, and I need to make sure that my curve is going to be maintained. So let's take the Skull Clamp. I don't think Lelia will wheel, but we shall see. Okay, there's a Pirate Spellbomb. This is like a Burst Lightning, but it can sack to Gut to make a 4/1. I really like that. Notably, there's also Scrubland, but we don't have an incentive for black yet. There's Goblin Bombardment, which goes really well within a Johnny, but we already have Skull Clamp, which also goes well with a Johnny. So yeah, I want to take this Pirate Spellbomb here. It's not missed on me that there's Underground Sea, and for the same reason, we have Flooded Strand. They both get this. They both make black, but I'm taking the Pirate Spellbomb here. Okay, well, the Archon pick would have, I guess, maybe paid off. Entomb this late is definitely a sign, but it's not a sign that we're going to play into at this point. I do like Robber of the Rich a lot. I could try to speculate on Batterskull, but if we see a Stoneforge Mystic, we already have an equipment that we really want to be able to tutor, and that's Skull Clamp. So here I'm just going to take the Robber of the Rich. Okay, Lingering Souls, Mystical Tutor. There's a Gristlebrand. Apparently we should have played Reanimator. There's Peacekeeper. Lingering Souls is really nice, and Scrubland has a good chance of wheeling. And Lingering Souls is great with the Gut and the Skull Clamp. There's also Seasoned Pyromancer, which also goes great with the Skull Clamp, in all honesty. Yeah, I have to discard We don't have to be white just because I have Flooded Strand, but I'd have to discard spells to make that relevant. I guess if I'm not discarding spells, I'm still getting some kind of value if I'm discarding lands because I'm drawing new cards. I want to take the Seasoned Pyromancer. I don't know like how well Lingering Souls is respected in this cube. Okay, there's Hired Claw. That's good for our bell curve, if you will. I don't mind Nia either. We have Flooded Strand to help facilitate flipping it. It also goes really well if we can get a Caracas, and it's kind of like card. I mean, I guess it is card advantage if we get to play the thing. Okay, I'll take a Nia. I don't really want to be mono red, but we'll see. Okay, there's a Legion Extruder. I do really like this card. Also with Skull Clamp, I know in one of my videos I was able to equip Skull Clamp to the Construct, and I can sack the Construct in order to draw 2 cards as well, which is really cool. Plus we have Pirate Spellbomb too to sack to it, so we're gonna have some things to sack to this. Notably, I do really like Dragon Rage Channeler as well, but I'm a really big fan of Legion Extruder. Speaking of fans, I'm a really big fan of Scuzzback Scrounger as well. I didn't think this would wheel. Yeah, that goes great. I know in a previous video as well, I did I assembled Gut and Scuzzback, and it's just very strong. I would be happy with the Soul Guide Lantern on the wheel too, but I'm gonna take the Scuzz. I guess we'll take this Jit. Leonardo's not the worst, but I'm just if I don't have to play white, I'm not going to. Burst Lightning's insane. Okay, well, Scrubland did wheel. Let's see if Lingering Souls does. It did not. Sure, we'll take an Agent Bishop. Why not? Oh, I thought that was the pack right after the Scrubland. Okay, yeah, we'll play Lingering Souls, I suppose, for now. We may not have to, but I'll be happy with it regardless. There's a Plateau, a Sunbillow Verge, and a Sacred Foundry. There's also a Minskimbu, and I am not above, so I am not above playing Gruul. Minskimbu is incredibly powerful, and there's 3 Boros lands in this pack. One of them's going to wheel. I want to take the Minskimbu. The Minskimbu is just so strong. It's not lost to me that Retrofitter Foundry is also in the pack, but I'm not taking it here. There's a Fury. Fury is very nice. Maybe we get a Showdown of the Scalds back. I don't know if we're going to have enough spells for Monastery Mentor, and there's also a Felia. Yeah, this Fury seems fantastic for us. Tursa's nice. I am a big fan of Tursa. Zeator's Proving Ground is a red-green land, but I'm not going to take it here. Notably, Flooded Strand, if we decide to play it, does get Tropical Island. So, like, if we end up with Naya, as an example, this Flooded Strand still gets green with Tropical Island. But again, I think that's a little bit too greedy for us. I think I like taking Tursa here. If this was an untapped green red land, I think I would take it over Tursa, but let's take it here. Something that I'd really like to see soon is like a Caracas. I don't think we're going to see it past pick 4 in this pack, but maybe we'll see it in the next pack. I mean, there's a Tundra. It's a Boomy. If I'm already playing green for Minskimbu, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, that's probably better than Tifa. There's Bayou, but I don't have a black fetch, so I'm less tempted in that. And I don't really value the Grim Lavamancer that highly. I suppose I'll take the Boomy. That's a really late Lion's Eye Diamond, in my opinion. There's Flame Slash. That's an excellent pickup. Smuggler's Copter is also good. If you watch the video with my personal cube on Arena, you'll kind of see we got lucky. We got Leonardo off the top, but you'll see one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of equipment usually, because unless it's like Batter Skull or so that can equip itself, or Skull Clamp, which is really a cantrip. You know, if your opponent has a removal spell and you have 1 creature, the Smuggler's Copter is not going to do anything. Yeah, I want to take the Flame Slash. This being able to kill things like 6 and Questing Beast and etc. is just going to be very strong. Yes, Ren and 6 is definitely... I was already going to splash for Minskamboo. Ren and 6 makes this, like, not want to be a splash for me. I'm definitely willing to dedicate more green to this now. Fear of Missing Out is also a really good card. And Currency Converter is not lost on me either. We do have Tursa, we do have Season. I can see the argument for taking Currency Converter over the Ren and 6, but I'm going to take the Ren and 6 here. Something we really want to see now is a Wasteland or a Strip Mine. I think we take those probably over anything that's not specifically power or something just absolutely absurd. Okay, so Kellen. Okay, this thing just gets bigger and gets double strike eventually. Okay, and it also does like a Ragavan for your own deck. That's not bad. Yeah, I like this. I'll take a Kellen. I would like to see some Gruul lands. Thank you. I mean, there's an Urza Saga, but we're not an Urza Saga deck. I am aware that it can get Skull Clamp, which is really nice, but I want to play at least Minskamboo and Ren and 6. Maybe not Boomy, but I also really like Mind Collapse. But yeah, we're going to take Taiga. I literally asked for a Gruul land, and the game gave me the best one, so we're going to take it. All right. Oh, there's a Magda. Magda is very similar to Scuzzback. Arguably, Scuzzback's a little bit better because you don't have to attack. Also, we wield all three of the the Gruul dual lands. This is green blue. So yeah, we're gonna take Taiga here. That increases our chances of playing Flooded Strand. I said Taiga. I meant Plateau, obviously. Well, there's Indaltha Triome. That's a white-green land. Flooded Strand can get it. Is that better than Showdown here? I only have a few more seconds. I'm gonna take the fetchable green, just in case. Okay, there's a Paragon. There's, what is this? Seer Slicer Goblin. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, create a 1/1. This is double white. I don't want to go too deep into white if I don't have to. I'm going to take this because it can, at worst, it sacks to Skull Clamp, and it makes things that sack to Skull Clamp. If I have a Ren and 6 out, Tifa is actually kind of reliable. But if I'm sacking and discarding a bunch of stuff, I guess the Grim Lavamancer's medium at worst, probably. Here we'll take the Sage of the Skies. I don't think we're going to play it, but we'll take it. Lion Sash, okay. Concealed Courtyard, okay. All right, there's an Arid Mesa, a Marsh Flats. Arid Mesa gets Taiga, so I think that gets the tiebreaker there. Notably, there's a Thoughtseize, which is really strong. I do like Vibrance. Vibrance on the wheel would be really good. Ocelot Pride is definitely worth playing white for, but we're more red-green than we are anything white, so I'm going to take the Arid Mesa here. It's unfortunate we didn't open up any power, but maybe we'll get past a Mox Emerald here like I usually do in this spot. Or maybe even a Mox, or a Time Walk pick 3 for the, I think, 4th time now. Alright, no Mox Emerald. We do not get our companion Mox Emerald, unfortunately. We're not a Tezzeret deck. We're not playing these blue cards. I don't want to play either of these boots. This is not a pack for us, unfortunately. I don't want to play Clarion Conqueror. I don't want to play Ultima. I mean, Breeding Pool does what Tropical Island does, technically. I'm not saying I like that. I'm just stating facts. Whenever a land he controls enters, add 1 mana of any color. Then if this is the second time ability resolves, we can go get our Fury as an elemental. Sure. There's a Stoneforge Mystic. Let me see the rest of the pack. There's Empiric Tutor, which we're not going to take, unfortunately. Cosmic Grand Zenith's definitely worth playing white for. I absolutely love this card. There's a white-green fetch. There's a Channel. I think the ship sailed on that, however. Yeah, I mean, Lion Sash, I don't know if we're going to play Lion Sash, but there's Lion Sash, Jit, and Skull Clamp in the pack. Eagles doesn't do much for us. We're not going to be base white, unfortunately. Yep, this is unfortunate, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Stoneforge Mystic. I think it's just the most likely card we're gonna play. That's a Strip Mine. Strip Mine pick 4 is certainly a gift. Yeah, some of these are pretty good, and I would like to see them wheel, but I'm taking the Strip Mine and not even thinking about the rest. Honestly, that is, like I said, one of the cards that we would take over almost anything that's not, you know, power, mocks, etc. Badger Mole Cub is alright. Multiversal Passage isn't fetchable, but that's a Gruul land. There's Sentinel, which I am a big fan of Sentinel. Being able to make maps when you attack is really nice. It has Vigilance, so it's good against the creature matchups. You can defend and attack with it. We have a lot of 2-drops, so we don't necessarily need the Badger Mole Cub at this point. Let's take the Sentinel. Maybe the Multiversal Passage will wheel, but I highly doubt it. Parallax Wave is such a good reason to play white, but I don't know if we have the fixing for it. Fabled, Flooded, Arid Mesa, Plateau, technically in Delta Triome. We'd have to play a lot of white. I think we're better off taking something like Uvenwald Oddity, and it makes me sick to admit that, but I think it's true. So let's take it. Well, there's a red-white tap land, which I don't think that we need. There's an Asper Sentinel, which I do like, but again, I don't know how good our white man is going to be. We kind of adapted to a Gruul build. Scrap Shooter, I honestly don't value that much. Giving them a card to remove, like, I don't know, anything that's not winning them the game, I guess, but we'll take it. I just don't think I'm going to play it. We're not a Raffaello stack. This deck really makes me want to go Naya. This is the Raphael I was talking about earlier. I absolutely love this card in my cube, and I'm going to take it here. Giving my attacking creatures double strike is really nice. Ocelot Pride on the wheel is certainly something. This deck's really wanting me to play white, apparently. We're not blue. We're not probably going to play any blue. This is just literally to make Flooded Strand get green, which I still think is worth it. We're going to have to make cuts anyways, sure. Well, if we're playing white, I guess Eagles makes sense. I don't think we're going to be double spelling very often with this deck, and I'd rather take fixing at this point anyways, because again, we're going to have to make cuts. Overgrown Tomb doesn't get fetched off of anything, so that doesn't have any value to me. I suppose Containment Priest does. I really like Thalia as well, but I think I'm more scared of things being cheated into play than getting stormed. This is a white-green land. I suppose I'll take that. Michelangelo Improviser. I mean, we're going to take it. I'll read it later, I guess. So last pick, and then I'll see you in the deck tech. All right. The NYSE is returning for its 10th installment this summer. Have you ever won a piece of power during a Magic the Gathering tournament? Well, now's your chance. All 5 Moxen, a Time Walk, an Ancestral Recall, and even a Black Lotus will be up for grabs at this tournament. This event will be taking place on June 6th in Patchogue, New York. Worried about playing an underpowered deck? Don't worry. You're allowed to play with up to 15 proxies. Use the link in the description for more information regarding this historic event. I can't wait to see you there. Now let's get back to the action. This is what I decided to go with. You'll notice I decided not to play any white. I just don't think that Ocelot Pride and Stoneforge Mystic are going to be good enough to make my mana, for me to want to make my mana base that much worse. If I was able to get, I know I have the Plateau, I know I have the Taiga. If I was able to get a little bit more fetch lands, maybe, but reliably getting Ocelot Pride on turn 1, you know, castable, and then, you know, being able to play Wrenn and 6 on turn 2, maybe not exactly like that back-to-back, but that kind of situation is just something I don't think is worth doing. I do know that this is a very powerful card, especially with Skull Clamp, especially with Jit. First Strike with Jit is very, very strong, but I think it's better to have a better mana base, and you know, we'll see. Anytime I have to mulligan because I have all mountains and only green cards, or vice versa, I might remind anyone if you know, imagine my mana base, what it would have looked like if I was trying to support a third color. So, but I am very, very happy we got the strip mine. We didn't get any power, which is unfortunate. I suppose I am not too upset that we didn't see a time walk or anything, although the breeding pool would have obviously made us play that, so I guess that's a moot point. But either way, we shall see. I'm excited for the Sentinels. I think we have a lot of things that play well with the gut, so I will see you in round one. Welcome to round one. This hand is kind of awkward. I do have a Pyrite Spellbomb to play on turn one if our opponent doesn't play a creature we want to destroy, which I likely won't want to use Flame Slash on anyways. But the fact that our 2-drop, we don't really want to play on turn one because we want to be able to play this and have it not get removed, so we can obviously get the actual card advantage out of this. But we'll see. We'll see what our opponent's playing. I'm going to keep regardless. Having Sentinel is going to be really nice, but there are some flaws with this hand for sure. It would have been, you know, really nice if we had like a Wrenn and 6, because then we can Flame Slash a threat on turn one. Is this the Thoughtseize? Utopia Sprawl. Okay. So the card I was about to mention we really want to draw, which we did not, which would have been Strip Mine. Here I'm just going to lead Mountain, play Pirate Spellbomb so we can use up our mana efficiently. I don't think it's correct to play Forest just because why show them that we're a second color already? It's pretty obvious that we, even if we don't have mountains in our deck per se, that we can probably at least activate this. What color did they end up choosing? Red, okay. So it appears to be a Jund style deck. Sentinel. This is a great card to Flame Slash. Very, very happy to Flame Slash this. Okay, and that is our 4th land, so I am going to be pretty tempted to play this Arid Mesa and crack it before I draw my next card. Let's see what our opponent wants to do. I will apologize ahead of time. In these next few series of videos, that like I won't be doing too much extra with. I won't be doing too much editing. Yes, that's not fine, but just because I want to get the content uploaded while I'm gone. So I value getting videos up in my absence more than like having 1 or 2 that will be, you know, edited down a little bit to make it better. For those of you that, you know, that's insufferable, I do apologize. I hope you bear with me, but I don't know how long I'm going to be away from my computer, so I'd rather just get them up. Okay, that's a Fury. Fury, if I'm willing to pitch the Nia, can destroy the Wrenn and 6 now. That's probably fine because I can still play the Sentinel. And I can't unless I attack because they don't have a blocker and still probably evoke. I'm probably not destroying the Wrenn and 6 next turn. So let's just get rid of this now before it becomes a problem. And then let's play the Sentinel. Hopefully you don't have a Daze. Okay. This would be a pretty egregious Daze deck, but either way, I wanted the Wrenn and 6 to go down. Our opponent probably Dazes Sentinel if I play it first, regardless, but I still think it's correct to, if we're going to devote the Fury, I want to make sure it resolves. Yep. Surprised they didn't want to draw a card first in case they either drew a tap land or maybe they have another land in their hand and they want to, you know, if they play a spell that other land could play, but to each their own. Probably want to just map for, or you know what? I couldn't. So the Uvenwald doesn't make a lot of sense here, right? Because I can't. If this was Questing Beast, I would 100% just play it and attack. But let's map first because of that feature. Let's see what we're drawing. Our opponent leaving up this fetch land is what's causing this priority. Hopefully they realize that soon. And okay, there we go. Legion Extruder. I don't think we need that. I think I'd rather try to find a gut or something. And then we're going to play Skull Clamp, and then we're going to attack. Oh, do they have a force of negation? Their opponent's looking at their hand. Oh, force of will. Interesting. I'm definitely surprised they didn't activate One Ring then on the last turn. I'm not complaining though. Okay, well, let's attack. Let's make and use our other map token. Another reason to bin the Legion Extruder there is that we're actually still getting value out of the second map token. Because now we can hit a land, which is basically free, or we can contemplate another spell. Boomy. Man, I like Boomy in this situation, but we already have Uvenwald and we can't cast Boomy. I can Pyrite Spellbomb to draw a card, and then we increase our chances. We increase our chances of drawing a land. I think I like Boomy just enough. I'm going to keep it. The thing I would hate the most is bottoming this and then running 2 to 3 lands after that, and I would just be so devastated if that were to happen. So I think I'm going to end the turn. If they don't play something I care to Pyrite Spellbomb, I think I will draw a card so that I can hopefully top deck a land after the Boomy and just play the Boomy first before playing the Uvenwald, since they don't know about the Uvenwald yet. I do apologize about my phone. All right, the One Ring, finally they draw a card. I do think, even if you don't want to draw a card on your turn, I suppose I understand that. But you should definitely draw a card before you Force of Will. I don't see the reasoning behind that. For the same reason that I said about playing it on their turn, like with their other lands, etc. I know you can fetch it and it comes into play tap, so this is arguably a tap land. But for the same logic, you just get more information. This applies even more so with the Force of Will. I'm glad they didn't have a strip mine there, or I guess even a wasteland would kind of be devastating with the Taiga in play. With them being all 5 colors at this point, I don't know what I can't. It's not really realistic for me to like predict things to try to keep these parts of our opponent thinking very interesting. Regrowth for Sentinel. Okay, our Sentinel's bigger though, so even if they make theirs a 4/5, we can still attack through theirs. So because they don't have 2 mana to activate both their maps, which I assume they're going to activate map. Yep. Okay, yeah, and they missed on a spell, so draw a card. All right, let's see if we draw a land. We did not, but we did draw a Burst Lightning, which is interesting. I'm going to play the Uvenwald Oddity because we can still attack through the Sentinel, which is really nice. If we couldn't attack through the Sentinel, I would not play the Uvenwald Oddity, and I would save the map token to try to draw a land. And then at that point, I would play the Uvenwald Oddity post-attacks, just so we can play Boomy the following turn, especially if we top deck another land. But since we can attack through the Sentinel, I think playing Uvenwald Oddity and just saving the map token for later is sufficient. I do like that our opponent used a Regrowth for a Sentinel. I mean, they effectively gained 5 life and have a Surveil, basically. I know it's a little bit more than a Surveil, but I think it sums up to that. Sure. All right, Noble Hierarch, that's going to get binned. Yep, that's what I thought. We're pushing a lot of damage. If I draw a land, I mean, this doesn't have haste anyways, and I wouldn't have an untapped land. Ooh, Time Walk. Okay, that's good for them, not us. They are going to be staring down close to lethal, though, with this One Ring activation taking them to 7. And Tishana's Tidebinder is in exile, so that's one less out that they have to their own One Ring. If we draw a land, so to finish my thought, like we have Burst Lightning up, and at this point, if they tap out and we draw a land, I'm probably just going to Sorcery Speed this Burst Lightning to their face. After attacks, of course, depending on what they tap out for. Like, they could have Force of Negation, I suppose. Thunder Trap Trainer not kicked, or Offspringed. Yep. Mana Drain. I guess we're not casting into their double blue, which they don't have, so that's actually excellent for us. And they played the River Pyre, so they don't have... as I was saying, they'll probably play an untapped blue source here. So map token going on the Uvenwald Oddity, it looks like. Oh, do they have removal? Hopefully it's a path. If it's a path, I'll feel a little bit better. One thing that I'll say is interesting about Arena is like hovering over players' cards can be annoying. They do not have a blue source because it shows you what your opponent's looking at, which can kind of give away what their ideas were. Wait, I thought, did they not play land before the Upheaval, I guess, or the Explorer? I guess not. Maybe I was thinking when they time walked. I thought they played a land beforehand, so that would have been their second land, but I guess I'm wrong. And by guess, I mean I know I'm wrong because this is a client that you can't just play extra lands with, so. Yeah, I guess they played this River Pyre Verge when they time walked, so. Opponent still thinking. If they don't have an answer to this One Ring, they don't appear to be doing anything deathly enough to just get us out of nowhere. But of course, this is literally cube. Like their deck doesn't suggest, or the cards that we've seen doesn't suggest that they can kill us out of nowhere. But that doesn't mean that they can't. They can very easily have. Oh, and they even have basic swamp too. I guess that makes sense with the Fabled Passage. But as I was saying, like they can very easily just have like Breach, Brain Freeze here, and you know all of a sudden I'm done. So. Now that we drew the land, I really like having Burst Lightning up. Yes, let's get Burst Lightning up, because now if they crack the Fable before they untap, there's a chance I can Burst Lightning them down. Let's attack and see how they block. I can't map at instant speed, which is unfortunate. So to go for this play just to hope that they crack Fable end of turn might seem kind of weird. Oh, okay. Because we have lethal if they don't do anything here, if we just map on the Uvenwald. Oh, a Braid. So something I can do here is I can save. So this is tough because like if they don't crack Fable end of turn, which I think they might do. Yeah, because okay, so I can't do this now anyways because they definitely will crack it to mana drain. So I think I'm supposed to let this happen and just play into the fact that they might crack Fable end of turn. We are playing in the platinum, you know, division, so to speak. So I don't know if they will, but we're about to find out. Okay. And before Nick texts me and tells me, I am aware that I can just still shock them. But if they had removal spell there, the shock doesn't work, is why I didn't want to map. But they appeared to not have removal, so it looks like not mapping first and then Burst Lightning for just 2 would have worked. But maybe they did have removal and just didn't play it. And by removal, I mean a way to remove it without blocking. Okay, here they go. I am going to end step Burst Lightning them. I'm not going to kick it. because there's not a reason to. Like, why would we play into Miscalc and Mana Tithe? Or, well, yeah, Mana Tithe technically, but I meant to say Mana Leak. And if they don't have an answer to the One Ring, they're dead regardless. Our opponent has their entire deck. They can't even activate One Ring one more time because it would literally kill them. So our opponent has their entire deck in their hand. So if they can't win from here, I don't know what to tell them. But it is unfortunate I didn't go for the map pre-combat line. Okay, they're drawing a card here. They did leave up double blue. I guess they would have had to have second basic island, so you could also argue that this deck probably doesn't have second basic island. So it probably would have done something. Sure. I think the Burst Lightning kills them now, because I highly doubt they have second island in their deck. Okay. Sure. Okay, that doesn't do anything. I want them to use up as much mana as possible until something either says gain life or, you know, whatever. Fast Bond is fine. They might just off themselves. Sure. Alright, so it looks like we got there anyways. I do wish, admittedly, I do wish I would have recognized that the chances of them having second basic island is probably less than 1%. So I should have gone for it anyways. I think I tricked myself before I realized their mana base, but either way, we got there. It doesn't mean what I did was correct or not. It just, you know, I am glad that we got there, though. See you next round. Welcome to round 2. We are on the draw again, which is unfortunate because we have a turn 2 Robber of the Rich. If they go land, go, and like we're able to Pyrite Spellbomb, maybe we can get out from under it, but I don't think so. Either way, I'm going to keep. If we can find a fetch land, the Wrenn and 6 gets really good. If they don't play a turn 1 Mother, but play like a turn 2 Mother, okay, they mulligan. We're definitely not getting out from under that. Booster Tutor. Okay, that could be anything. It could even be a boat. I doubt it would be really funny if they got Treasure Cruise here, just for the meme. But either way, yeah, Robber of Rich is probably not going to be able to take cards off the top of their deck at this point. But if we can draw a Strip Mine, that would be fantastic. Not stating the obvious, obviously Arid Mesa, or, you know, Fabled Passage kind of does it too. I'm tempted. Okay, so they got Raucous Theater, so they need lands, which, I mean, I'm happy with them getting a land off of Booster Tutor any day of the week. I can't activate the Pyrite Spellbomb next turn anyways, but I can the following, whether I played it or not. So I think I value the Pyrite Spellbomb, or the Fabled Passage, so I have the option of playing Wrenn and 6 and upticking immediately. I think that's my logic there. So, like, for example, if they, like, played Deathrite Shaman here. Okay, Concealing Curtains. I couldn't destroy that anyways. Well, I'm definitely playing this Wrenn and 6. They're going to flip this Concealing Curtains, but if they spend time attacking the Wrenn and 6, it makes me feel a little bit better. Let's get Mountain, because we already have Basic Forest. Do another Basic Forest. This also devotes their entire turn. They probably take a Boomy, I would imagine. Let's return Fabled Passage. Getting some card advantage going. Okay, so they seem to be a black aggressive deck if they're going to have Gix in their deck, which I do like Gix. I made a Brawl deck out of this. It was a lot of fun. Something I wish I could do is I wish I could play Booster Tutor in my cube, but unfortunately the game's not programmed for Booster Tutor to work outside of this specific cube, I'm sure, on Arena. But the fact that they did this is just so sweet. Adding Oracle the Alpha is also sweet. I wish they'd add more of the Arena-only cards to the client, but I understand why people don't like them. I used to be one of them, but now that I've experienced them, I kind of like them. And like my thing with them that kind of made them icky for me was like, oh, they're not real cards. Like, I don't want to devote the time and energy, effort, etc. But as someone who's been playing almost exclusively, you know, digital lately, like that's even like so far from relevant for me. Okay, so something here I'm debating on is, do I want to play the Fabled Passage to uptick with Wrenn and 6 to maintain that value, or do I want to play two things? I can't remove this Revealing Eye, unfortunately. So here I'm just going to take my last bit of value off of the Wrenn and 6 that I can. If this didn't have Menace, I would gladly just play Robber of Rich and block with it, but I don't. So here I'm just going to play Robber of Rich. I am going to attack of the Rich. I'm aware it's Robber of the Rich. I've been shorting it. And for those I'm upsetting, sorry. But so Robber of the Rich gets in. Can't block anyway, so I shouldn't not attack. And it uses up my mana the most efficiently. Playing Pyrite Spellbomb to hold up, to shock something or draw just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, yep, Wrenn and 6 down. But honestly, Wrenn and 6 did what it was supposed to do. The only thing that could have been better is obviously finding a Strip Mine to prevent all of that. Okay, so now we can Fabled Passage again. And we haven't been losing life this whole time, which is also kind of fantastic. Yeah, we don't need 3 forests ever. What is, okay, so this sneaks. Okay, okay, that's on me. I should have gotten forest or just played forest. Because now I can't sneak it. Just combat damage to player may put a creature card and or a land card from your hand on the battlefield. Okay, now that's cool. That would have gotten boomy. I think they would block with Dark Confidant, so I don't know how relevant it is, but it doesn't mean it's not a mistake. So Edward, read the cards, especially the ones in your hand. Let's remove the ability for them to block, and even if they don't block, I don't want them drawing extra cards. So here we go. Remember, they booster tutored for a land, and they bend Gix, which is actually a really good card in their deck, it seems. So that means they were really hungry for lands, and yeah, I don't want them Dark Confidanting, revealing lands, or even if they don't reveal a land, drawing a land anyways. Okay, discarding 2, I would imagine, because they played land first for some reason. Okay, so they have either a really good 2-mana spell here, or they didn't think their line through. One or the other. They don't know I have Taiga in my hand. It's just factually incorrect to do that. This hits harder, and now I get to play Boomy, and I get to put it on Mountain, which is just fantastic. It's going to be really hard for them to attack through this, and we get to hit for a lot of damage. They don't know our 2 unknown cards are more land. Okay, they're just drawn into mono lands ever since. Sure, we'll sack the Mountain. I agree. Something suspicious is going on. If you can't hear Liliana, then that might have been awkward, but hopefully you did. Yep, we will sack the Mountain. That way we don't even lose any value. We just don't have a creature. I don't know if they're going to attack here. They may value their Lily. Oh, gut. Well, now they might attack, hitting the Tursa. I can't imagine them upgrading their 3/4 menace for a 4/1 menace. That doesn't make any sense. Yep. I imagine Tursa's getting sacked here, so I just take 7. It's a 2-turn clock. That's very strong. Yep. Very scary indeed. Oh, there's a Jit. Never mind. Not scary at all. I lied. Yep. Let's take this Jit. Let's equip this Jit. Let's probably play Robber of Rich. Yeah, because Robber of Rich can hit Liliana. So this is 9. Wow, they're off by 1. So if they play anything, I take 5 if I get burned. This is kind of risky. But again, they can sack anything. I'm going to either attack like this, or I attack Lily and keep Robber of Rich and Michelangelo back. That might be fine. This seems like the coward's play to do this, but like I also could just attack like this, and then if they uptick Lily, I don't care because I'm just discarding a land. Okay, let's attack like this. I get the 2 counters. Oh yeah, I untap lands. Okay. I did forget about the untapping lands part. Not that it's relevant. We don't have anything, but let's equip to Michelangelo. Let's end the turn. It would have been nice if we had an untapper, but... And by untapper, I don't know why I said that. It would have been nice if we had something to do with our untapped mana. If they discard, I'm just going to discard Mountain. If they play a spell, then discard. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to discard Mountain. Okay. I would love for them to sack literally anything here. I die to Burst Lightning if I don't block the Revealing Eye. Imagine if they were playing green and they had Corrosive Grip here. That would be absurd. So to play around Burst Lightning, I am going to double block the Revealing Eye. Oh, Fire Covenant. Okay. So hit this. That's fine. Go to blocks. I'm at 4. They make me discard a land, and then we win the game. That was exciting. All right, good game. I am proud to announce the 2026 Oklahoma Land Run Weekend, July 10th through the 12th. This event will be held at the Reed Convention Center in Midwest City, Oklahoma. Join me and my vintage family for a weekend of Magic the Gathering events featuring huge prizes and competitive play across multiple formats. Main events include a Vintage, a Legacy, and a Team Trios event, including Vintage, Legacy, and Modern. Don't have power? No worries. You can proxy any card currently on the reserve list. This year's artist is none other than the literal legend Nicola Beeson. Beeson will be on site all weekend long and is the designer of this year's playmat. Our game would not have stood the test of time without artists like Nicola Beeson. Please show her some support during the event. In addition to other prizes, the Vintage Champion will receive the original painting of the playmat art, while the Legacy Champion will receive the original sketch of the painting. Side events so far include a High Roller Vintage Cube for Power Thursday evening, at least one old school charity event, a pre-modern challenge also Thursday evening hosted by Game HQ, Duel Commander, and even more to follow. For more information, please use the links in the description to join the Oklahoma Land Run Discord. I'll see you there. Now let's get back to the video. Welcome to round 3. We are notorious for being on the draw. Your opponent has taken a mulligan. That is nice. We are playing against Slacks. I doubt it's the Slacks from the Lotus Lounge because it's not with X's, and also I'm sure there's millions of people playing Arena, but similar tag. All right, so that's a Flame Slash that we're just gonna send right at the Tameo, because why not? Don't daze us. Okay, they didn't have daze. Anyways, I like this hand. It curves out very well so far. That's continued to do so. We have Serious Flash. That's not good. Don't have. Yep, they have it. Well, there's not much we can do about that, unfortunately. Yeah, we even have a gut. Man, this would have been such a sweet curve out because we have Sear Slicer Goblin to go with the gut. So we'd play Pyrite Spellbomb here, I guess. No, I guess we wouldn't, but this is a brutal loss. I don't think we have anything to play to, but yep, no blocks. Let's see our draw. Yeah, that's not going to do it. Good game. See you next round. Welcome to round 4. We continue being on the draw. Yeah, this is again just another decent curve, and we even have Fabled Passage for the eventual green when we need it. I will keep. Our opponent did not mulligan, I believe. I didn't read underneath where it said we're playing second, so... Okay, they did mulligan. Excellent. All right, Arid Mesa. It does suggest a aggressive deck, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're an aggressive deck. Here, I'm just going to fetch up our green. It would be really unfortunate if we just top deck a Ran 6 and we can't play it. Playing a Skull Clamp into Arid Mesa, I don't want to do, because although I am willing to play Moxen, into empty boards. I don't care if they abrade my Mox usually, but I do care if they abrade my Skull Clamp. Yep, let's go get a forest. It's funny, like Boros and, which they may not be Boros, but they, have both Boros lands in play right now. Boros in 2026 is not Boros from, 2019 and before. There's so many flash creatures now. I'm not going to worry about playing around Mana Tithe or anything. Let's just play this. They could play Ophelia and then I could Fury it maybe, but I don't want to do that. They could have braid this end of turn. There's so many things Boros has now. Okay, Bone Crusher, that's a good one too. I'm glad I didn't play the Nia. And this is an exact example of what I was talking about in the deck tech too. Or not the deck tech, sorry, like round 1 or 2, I forget exactly when. I don't want to be doing that. Playing this and then having it get removed. I know I talked about that. I forget when it was. Okay, so I'm gonna Nia first and then Flame Slash probably. I guess if I was gonna Nia, I should have played land first. I'd rather take 2 than 4 here, and it's just gonna compound. So let's take our beats now. Let's play Skull Clamp. If they spend mana abrading it now, it means they're probably playing a 2-drop or less instead of, maybe a Sarah's, whatever it's called, Skyclave on the Skull Clamp. Okay. That is unfortunate. Grim Lavamancer. We do not want to use our green mana in case we hit exactly Wrenn and 6. I'm willing to let this stay exiled because I do want to play Grim Lavamancer. So we did get punished for our decision there, but I'm over it, honestly. Something I could have done for the flip is I could have played Breeding Pool because it's a forest that taps for blue, and then I could have played Plateau because it's a mountain that taps for white. I'm not willing to deal with that. I really am not. But it's something that we could have done. And maybe in paper I would have, but I'm not doing that here. In paper, we get to play for fun or hoo-haws, whatever. But on Arena, it is 10,000 gold or 1,500 gems to play these. And if you don't have a good record, your gems and or gold go down significantly. This is pretty brutal, but we're just going to take it here. I'm going to hope they don't have Reprieve for my Fury. Scuzzback. Please don't have Reprieve for my Fury. Looks like they have Reprieve for my Fury. Okay. Let's take this. Let's hit all 4. See what they do. They did not do enough. We are going to attack with our Nia. They could have Ophelia, so I'm not willing to attack with Grim Lavamancer. If they have the 3/1 Flasher, that's fine. Like the Disenchant on a stick. I'm okay to trade with that with Nia. They clearly have something. Oh, they have a Demi. Okay. Yep, and this gives Hex, or not Hexproof, but Indestructible. I think it does both, actually. Yeah, it does. Okay, I meant to say Indestructible, but it does do both. So I cannot block this Skyclave Apparition here. Something I can do, though, is Grim Lavamancer later. Okay, they had to pay the full amount for that. That's not bad. And it's just more Grim Lavamancer fuel. Yep. That's fine. If we rip like a Boomy here, I love our position. Okay, we ripped a Nissa. I don't love our position. Let's attack. We have a Lightning Bolt for our Grim Lavamancer. They clearly have something. It could just be holding up a Demi, but we will make red. I'm going to use the green anyways. Play the Scuzzback. Obviously, I'm not going to make treasure with it if it survives the turn cycle. I do want to upkeep, because this is others, correct? Sacrifice a demi. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible, but it sacrifices, so not relevant. Okay, so maybe I do want to do it now so that they can't make this indestructible. So yeah, okay, I talked myself into it. My original thought was mana on their turn, but I would like to be able to block if possible. I doubt they have any sort of reanimate in their deck that can hit my Fury, so I'm going to save the Fury. I think they're more likely to play blue for, I don't know, Time Twister, I guess, more than they are to have reanimate spells in their deck. Showdown of the Skalds, okay. Well, that's an absolute banger for them, and they get to immediately play Ocelot Pride. Well, at least I get to remove it. So actually, they're going to play Figure of Destiny. But the fact that they have Jit now for the Skyclave is not great for me. Oh, they can just do both. Okay. Well, at least I get to destroy the Ocelot Pride. Although ideally, I'm probably going to want to destroy the Figure of Destiny at sorcery speed here. Decline. So if I attack with Nia and these other two, they can choose to block Skyclave to Nia and just take the 6, and then I'm in a really awkward position of killing Figure versus killing Skyclave. So I think it's correct to attack with these two and not the Nia. Also, imagine if I had Skull Clamp. Imagine if I just didn't play Skull Clamp when I did. All right. I doubt they block, but I am going to destroy the Figure of Destiny on my turn so that they can't pump it. Opponent thinking. I'm okay with them trading off. I was going to say, I am A-okay with trading off that. Okay. They apparently agree with me being A-okay with it, so they did not. That makes sense. Here I am 100% hitting this Figure of Destiny. They can put the Jit on the Ocelot Pride, but here's the thing. They can pump this out of Grim Lavamancer range at instant speed. I don't want to play the dance of around this. I guess if they play the Jit and equip, then they cannot. Sure, green, it doesn't matter. I have to play a fetch land for the Nia to matter, unfortunately. Let's just strip mine the plateau. So the Jit is going to absolutely destroy me. I do think I played this turn wrong. I'm probably supposed to... Oh, okay. I think they played this wrong. I was going to say, since I did this Figure of Destiny, I did open up myself to the Jit a lot more than I would have liked to have admitted. Yeah, I can't imagine why you wouldn't just play Jit and equip here. Because you equip to the Ocelot Pride, and you get first strike. You first strike down the Nia, so they don't even trade. You get 2 counters. You get your stuff. This goes away now, right? Yeah, that's so strange. I think I honestly have a better chance of winning now than I did before. Okay, well, not with a draw like that, unfortunately. Okay, the Jet's gone. The Lion's Sash can get kind of big. Yeah, I can't do much about it, unfortunately. Okay, I should have put a treasure on this to flip this Neo. Because now it would have been a 4-4. Alright, yeah, that was a mistake. Because I could have forested to make the other color. Yep. I could block with Nissa and Nia, and maybe they kill the Nissa first, and then that'll put a card in the yard for me to finish off the Ocelot Pride. And I'm taking the 3 regardless, and then if I block, I just auto die, so this is probably the best thing I can do. Hopefully they kill the Nissa, though, so that I can... Or, yeah, the Nissa, I said that right. So I can Grim Lavamancer down the Ocelot Pride. They should Lion Sash here first. Well, they didn't, so... See where the Screaming Nemesis goes. Oh, that gives me hope. They probably eat with the Lion Sash. So the Renin... I mean, I don't want to draw Renin 6 here anyways, but... Yeah, I'm okay with them Screaming Nemesing the Grim Lavamancer. I think they're supposed to just hit me. Like, they're at 13. I can't kill their Lion Sash. That's going to be absolutely huge. I can't draw a Skull Clamp. I can draw a Boomy. Oh, Michelangelo. That's not going to do much. I don't think I'm getting out of this one. The Michelangelo is just going to get way too big. All right, the Michelangelo. The Lion Sash, Edward Talk. Also, keep in mind, they can equip that to a cat, too, to play around like a sweeper effect, which is what I would be doing. Because, like, attacking with the 1/1s doesn't make too much sense anyways. Oh, yeah, they should definitely be eating their own stuff. Like a Plateau, because... Or I guess maybe a Showdown of the Scalds first, because if they have the Sarah's spell, the 4-mana Sarah creature. Good game. See you next round. Welcome to round 5. We are 2-2, and we're not going to win any games keeping a do nothing until gut comes into play hand, unfortunately. I will keep this. I think we're supposed to put back the Boomy. I could see that, or maybe Seasoned Pyromancer or Michelangelo. Michelangelo and Boomy did do really well before. There's a chance that we... Alright, I don't know if I approve of this. Because Scuzzback can get us to 4 regardless. But if they don't have a creature in block, we could Michelangelo and then put in a Boomy, and that would be incredible. It also resets the Scuzzback. Sure. I'm going for the high upside. I think I would go for this play if I was, 3-0 or 4-0 instead of 2-2. Well, this is unfortunate. Well, I am going to play the Scuzzback. I don't think strip mining here is correct. Yep. They just brain freeze randomly into turn, we may just be dead, because I would imagine that they're doing that because they have Mystical Tutor probably for brain freeze. And then they have 4 mana for Breach, which means, oh no, they tinker us. Okay, well if they have a land, the tinker did, or the strip mine didn't matter. Let's hope it's like Bolas' Citadel and they hit 2 lands, or it's probably not Bolas' Citadel now. With that said, we can't deal with a large creature, so we're probably dead. Portal. Well, that is abysmal for us. Let's Nia. Our dreams aren't dead yet. I'm just going to go get Taiga now so we can effectively have F6. I understand the argument of playing strip mine there, but the way we win this game is just by being overly aggressive. We Michelangelo. Oh, they're using the treasure. Oh, they have forest. And maybe we can sneak in a Boomy. Of course, with Scuzzback in play, that's way less likely. Well, we're 1 mana off, and there's no reason to Flame Slash the Scuzzback because we can't Michelangelo afterwards. So, and they would just get the Scuzzback back, obviously. So if I could get Michelangelo down this turn, I would consider it. But here, I think I like strip mining the forest. I know they have treasure, so maybe I'm supposed to just place Michelangelo. Let's strip mine the forest. If that was an Is It land, I'd probably just play Michelangelo into their counterspell. Because remember, they didn't buy a Lutri, so either they're toying with us or they have a spell to play. No attacks. Maybe they'll give themselves another treasure and take Scuzzback off for a turn. Because remember, if they counterspell our creature, which they can counterspell Sneak, they quote-unquote fixed ninjutsu. So, okay, they did do that. So they did that, I assume, for basically free because they can get back the Scuzzback anyways. But as I was saying, if they counterspell our Michelangelo, they can get back our Michelangelo. It's not great for us. All right, let's attack with Nia. Let's play this into a counterspell and just lose. Yep, play that Mana Leak. Or miscalc, or not, or I get a Boomy. I do like Michelangelo Improviser. I think I'm going to have to put this in my cube because I do like the cheaty face stuff in my cube, and there's not a whole lot of ways to do it. Yep, we're going to play the Boomy. We're going to put that on Taiga, I guess. It's probably the worst one to put it on, but you can also argue it's the best one to put it on. It just depends on what happens. It's the worst one if it never dies. It's the quote-unquote best one if it does. Just because, like, it's wasteland proof now. Okay, they chose not to counter. They're making another one of those. That's a heads up play. That is a play that is levels over some players. And now they just get both things. That is so... Oh, they didn't want the Michelangelo. Interesting. It is a bigger body. And they don't get the treasure yet. But... Oh, no. At the beginning of your first main phase, not upkeep. Okay. I should read my own cards. This is really cool. We are going to lose. But this is super cool. I can't Flame Slash because they would just get it back anyways. So this is really sweet. I unfortunately, we 2-3'd, but this is a sweet deck. This being our opponent, and that was a super sweet play. So I'm glad we got to see that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Well, 2-3, not too exciting. It is unfortunate that the whole reason why we kind of went really hard into Minkskin Boo, or Gruul, is because of Minkskin Boo. I don't think the white cards would have done much better. Obviously, Ocelot Pride is a really strong card and really good with Skull Clamp and Gut. I'm not debating that. But I do think the Minkskin Boo, Sentinel, and even Boomy, but definitely Uvenwald Oddity are better to play green for, and that's 3 cards versus, Ocelot Pride, and honestly, that's really it, because Sage of the Skies we're not double spelling very often. That's why I didn't take the Cosmic Grand Zenith either. So it's just unfortunate. We started off 2-0 really strong. I was kind of excited, but 2-3. I'm not going to say that I expected it, but when you don't have power and sometimes your opponents go, Mox, Lotus Petal, Tinker on you, it's kind of hard to win those games for sure. Not having an Abrade effect is really upsetting. I did have a chance to take the 2-1 that you can pay a red to adventure to smelt something basically. I don't think it was correct to take it when I saw it. I wasn't sure what I was going to end up with in the end, and we still had chances to, do something a little bit less aggressive, because that was pack 1, I believe. But yeah, I do like this deck. I do like this archetype. I do think this archetype is definitely a lot better in my personal cube on Arena than the vintage cube, of course. Jit did, I guess, maybe not win us a game, but it solidified a win. Sentinel was an all-star of the game that we saw it. I absolutely love Sentinel so much, and it's one of my favorite green cards in the cube. I love Fast Bond too, just not in this edition. In my paper cube, I absolutely loved Fast Bond, but Sentinel has grown on me a lot as like my favorite green card in cubes a lot, and that might just be because it makes artifacts for like Academy. But I think this card is great in the Academy decks. I think this card is great in just mid-range matchups. Yeah, so I'll get off Sentinel, but Boomy was also fun. Michelangelo surprised me when I finally read the card. admittedly. Maybe I should have played Scrap Shooter because I was just complaining about destroying an artifact. This is definitely... Portal is 100% a card I'm willing to give them a card for to destroy, but there's not much else outside of Portal, because like even the 9/9 that dies to make 3/3s, I mean, I'm not giving them a card to have the same thing, like, basically. And then the other, like Krang, I think is indestructible and or hexproof, so not relevant. But I could definitely see arguments of the Scrap Shooter, but it's... I don't know. I think if I sleeve this up again, I'm probably still not playing it, but I don't blame anyone for saying that I'm wrong for that, and you may be right. So either way, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out some of these others you might also enjoy. I alternate between playing vintage and powered cubes both on MTGO and MTG Arena. If you like cubing on Arena, but it's too expensive to play as often as you'd like, check out some of my personal MTG Arena cube videos on this channel. If you like it, join us sometime for a draft. We'd love to have you. If I don't see you in Discord first, I'll catch you in my next video.